Hello there, thanks for tuning in to Gasworthies on this Saturday evening. So we've already done the weekend forecast, which you can find a video to that on the homepage. Just scroll down the page a little bit and you'll be able to see the link ads, and it's underneath the link ads, the video for the weekend forecast. There's also the written version. You get to that via buttons at the top of the page. Going to be a very blocked week. Going to be lots of high pressure dominating and pretty cool weather at times as well. I'll let you see weekend forecast though, see what's going on. This is CANSIPS Saturday, so we're going to be going 6 months ahead with the long range Canadian model from website tropicaltidbits.com. Now, as ever, with these long range 6 months look ahead videos, we do this one, we do the CFS one, and I've also started Beijing Climate Centre 6 months look ahead as well. As ever with these, they are just for fun. The charts are there, so okay, let's use them, let's look at them, see what they're showing. But don't, whatever you do, be taking things too seriously. And we're just going to have a bit of a laugh, bit of fun, and see what the model is showing from next month, from December through to April 2017. So we're going to go into spring 2017 with this particular update. I could go further than that. I could actually go to September 2017. But I'm going to draw the line. Let's see if I have to draw a line somewhere. It would just get too silly if we went beyond 6 months. So I'm going to draw the line at 6 months, which is April 2017. And I'll get on with that in a second. Just to say, the website we're using for the CANSIPS Saturday update for this month, for October, is tropicaltidbits.com, and you can find the link to Tropical Tidbits on the links page. Big thank you and thumbs up to Tropical Tidbits for letting us use their data and their information. What else am I going to say? There's links to articles on all the pages. Have a browse widgets and click through the links if there's any articles that you're interested in. You'll be helping us to pay for our website. Thanks very much for doing that. There's also video ads on most of the pages. Say open content when you watch my close back up again. It does help to pay for gasworthies.com. We got the 5th update for winter 2016-2017 coming up at the website tomorrow. I'll talk about that at the end of the video. So I'm going to get on with the mean sea level pressure anomalies for the next 6 months first of all, and then we'll have a look at corresponding temperature and corresponding precipitation anomalies. Sorry, I need to put teeth back in. Precipitation anomalies after that. It'll all make sense as we go through. And I haven't looked at these charts at all. I've just loaded up the website. I've not gone through them, so I've got no idea what they're going to show. It'll be as much of a walk in the dark me as it is for you, and we'll see whether my interpretation of the mean sea level pressure anomalies adds up with temperature and precipitation anomalies. So could be anything could happen with this update. So we're going to start with the mean sea level pressure anomaly for November 2016 for next month. As ever with these pressure anomalies, red is extrapolating to high pressure and blue extrapolating to low pressure. So what the model is showing for November is that there's a ridge sitting up to the north and northeast of the UK. That's extending up towards Scandinavia. To the southwest, we've got a trough of low pressure. So the jet stream, there's also a bit of a mid-Atlantic ridge as well. The jet stream is probably doing something like this. And I think we're on the cold side of the jet there. And I wouldn't be at all surprised if we're bringing in the flow from an easterly direction. Now, this low pressure down to the southwest could be throwing up some weather systems as well. So it could be a bit of a battle going on there. And all in all, quite an interesting month to start us off for November 2016. I think there is a little bit of wintry potential in there if that was to come off as one is showing. We go through to December, so we go through to the first month of winter 2016-2017. And remember, these are months 1 and months 2, so hopefully, if model is working correctly, this part of the update is more reliable. As we go further on to 3, 4 months, of course, reliability drains away, get to 5, 6 months, and it really is in the realm of just for fun. But for the first couple of months, hopefully there's a little bit of scientific merit in what we're doing. Famous last words. So for December, we find a ridge there very close to the UK, area of high pressure, almost over the country actually, and they've gone to this side of the chart, but it actually extends into central parts of Europe. That'll be a very quiet December, very quiet start to winter. I think there could be a lot of frost and fog in with that. Maybe not all that wintry in terms of snow, because that's very centrally based area of high pressure, and the really wintry conditions over here in the east and northeast of Europe, with jet stream doing something a bit like that. So the snowy conditions over into the east and northeast of Europe. For us, it's very dry, very quiet, and I would have thought probably quite cold. We have a look at the third month, which is January 2017. This one is placing a trough to the west of the country, and it looks like it's bringing the flow in off the Atlantic. So that looks broadly westerly based, actually. So bit disappointing there, I think, if you want a cold, snowy month in January. That doesn't look especially cold. It just looks a little bit on the unsettled side, nothing overly alarming. And just generally Atlantic based and quite mild with that one, I would have thought. That's 3 months away. Reliability is falling. Month 4 is February 2017, and that one, again, looks a little bit unsettled. There's low pressure close to the UK. I've got more ridging in the Atlantic going up to here, so I would have thought there's a chance for jet stream could be on a northwest southeast trajectory with that one. So maybe not overly warm, quite unsettled, but again, nothing really looking particularly severely cold. The high pressure isn't in the right place for that. Quite Atlantic driven and not overly cold, but probably some wintry potential in with that. We move through to March, month 5, so now we're in the round with just the fun, and it looks classically sort of zonal for March. High pressure is around the Azores to the south of the country, low pressure is up to the north, and the jet stream is coming through like that. So very zonal westerly month in March, would be mild, and probably quite wet and windy in the north, drier in the south. And then we finish up month 6, April 2017, just for fun, and we're almost back where we started in December, really. So, we have high pressure back over the country, a ridge there is extending through the UK, looks very quiet. That would be very pleasant April, actually, very pleasant conditions indeed for the middle part of the spring. Lots of dry and pretty warm conditions coming up with that one. So not a great deal there in terms of my interpretation for cold wintry conditions, although November does hold a little bit of interest. But let's have a look and see how the temperature anomalies are stacking up. So we come through into or come back to November, and we find temperature anomalies there are coming out average to a little bit milder than average. That's a bit disappointing based on the anomaly. I would have thought it's likely to be a bit colder than that is suggesting in terms of the temperature anomaly based on the mean sea level pressure anomaly. So very often these long range models, they are climate models, very often they do overcook the temperatures a bit, I think. So I would actually bring that down much closer to average, somewhere to around here on the scale. I think based on the mean sea level pressure anomaly, there is a chance of something a little bit more wintry-ish for November. We move through into December. That's with high pressure over the country. You expect a cool, dry month. The model indicating sort of average temperatures again, and maybe a little bit on milder than average side. Not sure about the temperatures there really, because it's a mid-latitude high. It's not a block, so we're not bringing down any severely cold air from the Arctic. It would be cold under the high pressure on the surface, probably milder aloft, so you maybe get sort of inversion cold there with frosty, foggy conditions, but not sort of deep level Arctic cold conditions with that one. Nevertheless, maybe the model is seeing things being a little bit milder than you would have thought. Going through to January, which looked very westerly and Atlantic based, the temperature anomaly in January is average. So we've gone from mild and average to average temperatures in January. No signal for anything desperately cold coming up again, but average temperatures in January does hold out the potential for a little bit of wintry weather. Of course, it is the middle of winter, so average temperature anomalies in January could be a little bit of wintry weather coming through. But again, nothing overly cold being suggested. Month 4, I should say. As I said, week 4 there. Sorry about that. Month 4. We are coming out average again. So very average signal for the temperatures this winter. Actually, nothing particularly alarming either. No exceptionally mild weather, no very cold weather being signalled by CANSIPS this month. And then go through to March, which looked very zonal, and the temperature anomaly there is going back above average. You would expect that based on the pressure anomaly, and that continues into April as well, where we've got high pressure, remember, sitting over the country. So that will give us a very pleasant, quite warm April if that one came off. Precipitation then, and we come back to November. So November looks quite interesting actually. It's dry on average up to the north around Iceland, indicating, I would have thought, high pressure up there. It's got slightly wetter conditions close to the Bay of Biscay. So that all tallies with the mean sea level pressure anomaly, which remember is for high pressure to be up here, low pressure to be down here. The low pressure is trying to bring milder Atlantic air in, but I think this high pressure would also be bringing colder easterly, northeasterly winds. So I think reading between the lines, the model didn't really show it with its temperatures, but very often these long range models overcook the temperatures. And reading between the lines, I think there's a chance of a cold November here. We go through into December, that's with the high pressure centred over the country, and again, precipitation looks near normal. It's a little bit wetter than average, interestingly, for Scotland, and drier than average down to the south of the UK. So if anything, that might imply that the high pressure is a little bit centred to the south of us, and the jet stream is coming into the north. So that could actually be a little bit on the milder side than I thought in December. But I think generally it's anticyclonic, quite dry, and there will be some frost and fog, undoubtedly, with that one. Moving through into January, month 3, and its average precipitation. The westerlies are coming back there, so I would have thought a fairly unsettled month is likely. February looks interesting. That looks significantly drier across many parts of the northern Atlantic, and it's near normal to dry on average for the UK as well. So it implies probably quite a lot of anticyclonic influences out to the west of us. Remember, for February, I think we're doing something like that with the flow. So cooler, potentially, northwest-southeast trajectory with the jet stream, and a little bit drier out to the west of us, near normal precipitation elsewhere. Classic north-south split for March. So for March, the jet stream coming through the country like that. We've got high pressure down here and low pressure up here. So that's giving wetter conditions up to the north and dry conditions down to the south. And then finally, we finish up in April, 6 months away, so it's just for fun. And it's drier than average, with high pressure giving a very pleasant spring month there in April. Finally, I just want to have a look at what model is predicting in terms of ENSO. So this is the ocean temperature prediction, sea surface temperature prediction from CANSIPS for November, and this is the signature just here for La Nina, for the central base, very weak, very weak central base La Nina that we've got right now. We're borderline neutral to very slightly weakly La Nina, and that's suggested to continue into November, so no real deviation on where we are right now. Get through into December, and if anything, that signature for La Nina is probably fading. It's becoming more westerly over here as well, and it is weakening a little bit already in December. We go through to January and February, and there's further weakening. So any La Nina event that does occur at the end of this year, it's going to be very weak, and it looks like it's finished by the time we get through to the end of the year anyway. Start of next year sees a rapid decay of that, so that by February we're quite clearly going back to ENSO neutral. Now, the last couple of updates of the CANSIPS have been very keen to develop a renewed El Nino event into next year. Let's see if the latest update from CANSIPS is to do. Remember, I haven't seen these charts. I've not looked at them in advance of the video, so I don't know what they're going to do. In March, it looks like we're into ENSO neutral again. But April, look at this, it's starting to warm a little bit over here on the eastern, in the eastern part of the Equatorial Pacific, so over towards Peru, beginning maybe to get the start of El Nino returning. Very interesting. Let's see where it goes beyond that. I'm going beyond 6 months with this part of the video, which I shouldn't really be doing, but look at that, into May, and El Nino is definitely starting to re-emerge there. It's beginning to get going again, and we go through into the summer. This is June, this is July, this is August, by which time quite clearly we are back in El Nino condition. If we have a look at the scale, that's sort of a moderate to strong El Nino. It's not the Super Nino that we had 2015, 2016, but quite clearly it is back to El Nino, and El Nino re-emerges. The return of El Nino, or maybe El Nino strikes back, or attack of El Nino, however you want to describe it in a Star Wars term. It looks like that's what the CANSIPS is still going for the next summer. Now that's going beyond 6 months. I shouldn't do it, but it's very interesting to see where the model is going in terms of ENSO. And if we get an El Nino next summer, remember where you heard it here first, because nobody else is talking about next year's ENSO conditions at this stage. So if we get another El Nino for the middle and latter part of 2017, you heard it here first. Conversely, if it doesn't come off, then basically forget it. And that's all I can say about that. So coming back to the next 6 months worth of weather, quite interesting. It looks like November does hold the potential for a little bit of wintry weather. There is some wintry potential in there, I think, for November, reading between the lines. We know we've got really interesting weather patterns setting up already in October when I'm doing the video. So November could hold something a little bit wintry. After that, it's not a great deal to go on, I'm afraid, for cold and snow lovers. December just looks very quiet month, really. Would be frosty and foggy at times, but not sort of snowy conditions in December. And then January, February, it looks like we go back to Atlantic weather, albeit not overly mild. So average conditions really for January and February, which of course in an average winter will produce some wintry conditions at times, but nothing overly cold or severe showing up there for those 2 winter months in January and February. After that, it's not worth worrying about, but it looks like we have quite a nice spring. So we'll see how it goes. I said this, it's just for fun. The charts are there, so I might as well look at them. Don't take it too seriously. We'll do another CANSIPS Saturday next month. And of course, we've got the CFS 6 months lookout coming up a week today. This time next week, we'll be doing the CFS 6 months look ahead, so that'll be quite interesting. Tomorrow, I spoke about this at the start of the video. Tomorrow is the 5th update for winter 16-17. So ignore everything that you're seeing in this. This is all just for fun and a bit of a laugh. We get serious tomorrow when we have a look at the oceans, when we have a look at ENSO, when we have a look at Siberian snow cover across Russia, and many other things as well. Solar activity, we're going to have some analogues looking at warm Septembers. You name it, we'll be doing it at the website tomorrow. And I'm also hoping tomorrow that we'll have the latest update from the ECM WF seasonal model. That could be really, really interesting. It could be a pivotal moment, if you like, in the progression of this season. I don't know if I'll have that for you or not tomorrow. I'm doing this update, CANSIPS Saturday. I'm actually recording it on Thursday evening. I've been told that the ECMWF seasonal model update is going to be available by the weekend. So if it is available, I'll show you if I can. I'll interpret if I can what it's showing, and that could be really, really interesting. But I'm not absolutely sure when I'm recording this video whether that is going to be happening or not. But watch this space. If that doesn't come off, I can guarantee we will have that 5th Winter 16-17 update for you tomorrow. Right, that's all for now, and it's time for me to get off and leave you to your Saturday evening. So thanks very much for watching, and that's all for now. Bye for now.